I'm Dan Drake. This is Front Up on Geno TV and Channel 99. With us today are two special guests, Sabrina Dawson and Gavin Norton. Welcome. You're here because you have engaged in a new venture on the island, Keeper's Restaurant out on Amelia Drive. And I thought it would be fun to talk about how you got to this point in opening the restaurant, what your sort of hopes and dreams for it are, and then we'll get into some of the specifics. But why don't you start, Sabrina, and talk a little bit about why you're doing this?
Sure. So my parents are Mark Dawson and Ann Dawson. They own Fog Island Cafe down on South Water Street, and I grew up in the restaurant business my whole life. I just graduated from Endicott College about a year ago, and I came up with the idea about a year ago to start Keepers. I didn't know it would be called Keepers, but I wanted to start another restaurant, a little spin-off from my parents. About 2 years ago, in 2014, we had Fog Island Grill, which was on Amelia Drive. And that was open for a summer, so since then it's been vacant, the building. So I thought it'd be fun or exciting to start a new restaurant, not under Fog Island's name, but under my parents'.
Gavin, you haven't had any background in the restaurant business, have you?
No major involvement. I worked at Straight Wharf for a couple of years, door guy, bar back, kind of wherever I could work, just kind of a night job because I had the beach going, the surf school. But this is my first real big involvement in the restaurant business, so it's good.
How did you come up with the concept for Keepers and the name?
It's kind of just like, well, the name, we were just sitting on the couch trying to figure things out, and she said something about lighthouses, like looking up synonyms for like what has to do with lighthouses. I mean, we live on Nantucket, there's 3 lighthouses, might as well incorporate that somewhere. No one's really done that yet. And she was looking it up, and she said Keepers. We kind of kept looking, and then it's like, oh, I think what you said was a good idea. Like, let's keep going with that. And like we just kept saying it and saying it and saying it. Wrote up a business plan with the name Keepers, and brought it to her parents, and they're like, Keepers. And it was kind of like, and then her mom was like, goalkeepers? Like, no, like lighthouse keepers. But we hadn't had a logo yet, so it was kind of confusing. Like, keepers could mean anything from like striped bass keepers or like goalkeepers or like, I mean, everyone kind of had their own variation of it. And then once we started to really get the logo behind it, kind of made a little bit more sense. We live upstairs, so we're like the restaurant keepers, lighthouse keepers. It's also the 4th restaurant to go into that building, so we're hoping that this one's a keeper. So it's all like the little things with it.
That's great. How did you develop the menu? What was the process to do that?
So that was kind of fun, actually. We sat down, Gavin, myself, my parents, and our head chef, and just started
Who's your head chef?
Doug Farrell, and he's accompanied by his girlfriend, Gina Russo. They worked for us at the cafe as well before Keepers. Anyways, we sat down in a room and got out a piece of paper and just started jotting down all of our favorite foods. And by the end of it, we said, why don't we just do this? Why don't we just combine all of our favorite things and not necessarily have a cuisine, but just make it a concept of our favorite things. So that's where we went with that. And all of them are Keepers, we think. Yeah. So it kind of, accompanies the name.
When we went, my wife and I went, I had the meatloaf, which I thought was fascinating, the presentation and so forth, and she had the salmon, which she thought was wonderful. So
not a lot of places you go, you think to get meatloaf. That's kind of like, but it's like ours is amazing.
Yours is very special.
Yeah.
Meatloaf is one of my favorite foods. That's why I made it to the list.
It's like everything that's on the menu. It's like, oh, like that's my favorite food. And it's funny because like not really ever being involved in a restaurant, like you're looking at the menu, it's like, oh, I love that. I love this. It's like, well, I hope so. Like we put it together. It's like everything that we loved. So, I mean, it's nice to have a lot of
again,
other
the
people
keeper
like
concept.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Everything that we thought was a keeper is on there.
Yeah, good. You have a beer and wine license, right?
Yes.
Are you applying for a liquor license, or are you going to wait and see?
We're going to go the first year, beer and wine, just see how it goes. It's not something that we're too worried about. No one's going to leave because they can't get a vodka tonic. Well, I hope not. Like, everyone will always ask, like, oh, hey, can I get vodka tonic or like a rum, whatever. It's like, oh, we're beer and wine. It's like, that's what we kind of want to really focus on. Like, we want people coming back for the food, not because we're a bar. So that's what we want to focus it on. It's like, if we can get people coming back because the food's so good, and then the beer and wine is just an additional thing. We're growing the wine menu, we're growing the beer menu, just trying to like hit everyone's main focuses. But we're not too worried about it.
What are the popular wines?
That's a trick question right there. Everyone's like, oh, once you're open, you'll know what sells. Like, you'll either be red or white. Some nights we'll sell like 10 bottles of red or 1 bottle of white, or like 10 bottles of white, no red, sell a whole bunch of rosé one day, and then sell a whole bunch of red. So
Yeah,
it's like,
there's not many trends yet.
yeah.
It's kind of hard to figure out in order.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we're still definitely figuring it out. But it's good. I don't think we're in any rush to do the liquor. That's just more inventory, more storage, later nights, which is nice going to bed around 11:30. And also living upstairs makes it a little bit easier too.
Yeah, it would be not be so quiet.
Yeah, right?
If you had a regular bar downstairs.
Yeah.
So, where do you see this progressing? Is this it for a while? Do you see? I mean, you're young. This is I think a great story of 2 young people from Nantucket starting a business like this. Yeah, you have the background and you had the building, but still, it's a challenge, and so.
I think so. I mean, restaurants are complicated and difficult. I mean, you see so many restaurants come in and out of here every summer. But we have my parents, and they're incredible mentors. Fog Island's been there this will be our 24th summer. We wouldn't be able to do this without them. I mean, they teach us everything every day. So for us, I mean, this hopefully will last a long time.
We're not planning on stopping.
Yeah, no, we're not planning on stopping. We're definitely a step ahead, we feel, in terms of entrepreneurs.
I mean, is one of your dreams maybe having another restaurant that focuses on something else, or not? You aren't there yet.
I think if anything, we would expand Keepers to be maybe lunch or maybe breakfast, or we don't know. There's obviously different meals in the day, or get into catering, or get into having events there.
Is the left side open as part of the restaurant? It was not the night I was there.
No, so the left side is a takeout area. When the Fog Island Grill was open, they had lunch takeout there, and that was open about 5 days a week. That's definitely something that would probably be our next step, would be to open that side, because it's pretty much ready to go. And it would be part of Keepers as well.
As a takeout.
Yeah,
takeout
so that would be like the breakfast lunch side, like do that and then keep the Keepers part as dinner.
Yeah.
Just so you don't confuse anyone or burn out the kitchen staff.
What do you think is missing in your knowledge about running a restaurant at this point?
Probably so many things. I mean, every day, we find that we miss something, and my parents are there saying, oh, well, what about that? What about that? But in terms of something specific, what do you think?
I mean, I think the biggest thing that we're missing is just the experience, because I'm 26. Like, I'm one of the older people that's there, like management-wise. I'm like the oldest that's there night to night, and I have the least amount of restaurant experience. So it's like every night we learn something new. It's like, all right, this is what this is doing. Like, all right, like we need to change this. Like, we really just need to keep going, get more experience. I wouldn't say there's anything missing. Like, there's no big flaws yet, but it's really a learning experience at this point. And so far, we're learning a lot, and we're still doing well, which is good.
That's good.
People
And
keep coming back.
Coming into the season, you get a lot of repeat business?
Yes.
Business.
Yeah.
And the locals we're extremely grateful for their business. I mean, they love what we're doing, so.
And that's kind of why we opened. When she was coming back from college, and she was commuting back and coming on the weekends, it's like, all right, where do we want to go? And it's like, well, what's open? And then you like call around, close for season, close for season, close for season. It's like, okay, like there's nowhere really to eat. And then like you could always go, like Kitty's is always open, go somewhere like that. It's like, okay, like we can keep going to Kitty's, but it's like, it would be nice to like have somewhere else to go. So that was our thing. It's like, we wanted to be somewhere that's year round, that you can go get good food, drinks, and have it be pretty affordable. So that's what we want to try and add on to the community the year round. I mean, growing up here, it's like all the summer people leave, it's like, oh, I guess we're making dinner tonight. So we definitely want to expand that on the island.
Would you have any advice for somebody else who was trying it?
Make sure you have the right mentors. I mean, we were both entrepreneurship in college. It was my minor, that was her major. And I remember the first day of one of my classes in entrepreneurship, they're like, all right, like the biggest failing business that you can start is a restaurant. It's like, oh, and like in my head, I had no intentions of going into restaurants then. I was like, all right, I'll stay away from that.
My professor said the same thing, and we went to different colleges.
So it's like, it's definitely like one of those things that can fail, but I can see why it fails. If we didn't have the mentoring that we had, there would be so many mistakes that we would have already made. Just like little things like having the advice, and also like I've worked a little bit in the restaurants. She's worked a ton in the restaurants. So it's like people are always offering advice because no one wants to see you fail.
Right.
Everyone wants to see you do well, especially it's like all the people I know in town are like, oh, you guys are out of town. You're not even competition. Like, anything you need, any help, any insight, like, here it is. Like, we want you guys to do well. So, and also we live on Nantucket, which is a pretty special community.
Yeah, you've got your whole lives invested in this thing in a way, which is different than the people who come and drop in.
Exactly. We feel like we know the people, we know the island a little bit better. Like I said, we almost feel like we're on another level, a little step ahead.
What about the help situation? How have you been able to deal with that? I heard that you'd had some problems at the beginning with H-2B visas and so forth.
Yeah, it wasn't so much the visa situation. I think maybe, I don't know, what would you say?
It's like, we have enough. Like, the nice thing is that we're both from here, grown up here, so we know a ton of people are always looking for work in the summer. So it's like, hey, you want to work here? You want to work here? You want to be a bartender? Front of the house is really easy because like anyone like that's lived on Nantucket has probably some experience in a restaurant at some point. The kitchen staff, we do have enough kitchen staff. It's like it's always nice to have more. We have more coming, more showing up. But we haven't had as big of an issue as a lot of the other places, like big places that are just opening. We were lucky that we were able to pull some from staff, some of the staff from Fog, and be able to use a little bit of that. And then that's like where we got our head chef and his girlfriend. They're both amazing cooks. And it's like we were able to get them from Fog. Like the fact that those were already here, we got really lucky with that because they're both, they know what they're doing. Going from breakfast to dinner, it's like I didn't know what that was going to be like, but they're doing a really good job.
Are you doing breakfast out there?
No, going from breakfast at
Fog
Island.
yeah,
to
right,
Keepers.
right, yeah. It's a very different type of cooking.
Yeah,
And
we could use a couple bartenders, but other than that, I think our staff is pretty good.
Good. What's sort of the parting message that you'd like to leave with our viewers when you talk about Keepers? I know Gina would love to sell you a commercial, but will do. But before he gets hold of you, here's your chance.
What do you think?
I mean, come and see us.
Yeah, we just want everyone to try us and, just come see us. I mean, we're local kids, and I think we just are special and a little bit different than any other restaurant. And we really care about our customers and making sure they leave happy.
Like, I think we're the first true born and raised on Nantucket to start a restaurant here, or that's still open. I don't know about in the past, but I think that's kind of a cool little thing that we bring to the table, that there's nothing really like us, and we're like the youth and like the energy that's in it. Everyone really likes that. It's like they come and it's like it's nice to come in and like everyone's so happy and cheerful. And it's like she's at the front, like she's the first person you see. I'm coming around, I'll be helping running food. I'm mostly in the kitchen, but I think people are just going to enjoy coming. I mean, the crispy broccoli, if you don't like broccoli, you can come to us and you'll actually like broccoli. So it's definitely a special thing.
Is that your favorite?
I mean, it seems like it's everybody's favorite. They go through boxes of broccoli. So.
We're for the locals, by the locals. Isn't that what we said?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of our party message. That's what we want to be.
Good. Well, thank you. And
Yeah.
congratulations on your
Thank
effort,
you.
and I wish you success.
Thank you so
Sabrina
much. Nice to
Dawson,
see you.
Gavin Norton.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.